top story this hour. Well, controversies' favourite man and Congress leader Sam Pitroda has stepped down from the post of the chairman of the Indian Overseas Congress after his racist remarks, perhaps intended to represent India's diversity. His resignation was accepted by the party. Congress leader Jairam Ramesh took to X and announced that Sam Pitroda had decided to resign from the key post of his own accord. Now, Pitroda has had a long history of helping the BJP when it comes to setting political narratives. After all, what is the impact you think it's going to have when Pitroda remarked "Hua to hua" in 2019 while speaking about the 1984 anti-Sikh riots that created a huge row, and perhaps rightly so? That year he again said that the middle class should not be selfish and have a big heart to fund the party's Nyay scheme. And just 2 weeks back, Congress got its neck wrapped around yet another albatross when Pitroda suggested the imposition of an inheritance tax, suggesting perhaps that those who have more wealth should part with it. And now the man close to the Gandhis has submitted his resignation, but the question is, has the resignation come in a tad too late? And to discuss this further, I'm now joined by Tejas Mehta, political commentator. Tejas, thanks very much for joining us this evening. Now, in a way, what Pitroda has done over and over again has really deflected the Congress party's strategy to focus on issues that it's been trying to raise, whether it be inflation, price rise, a lack of jobs, caste census. And now his resignation coming in, do you think it's coming too late, considering that the damage has already been done? His remarks have already set the base for BJP to set several of their narratives.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly the reason. I'm not saying that people should just simply retire and be at home, but having a presence on camera, speaking on behalf of the party, being an important position like the overseas, chief of the Congress party, all of this has, a bearing on the party's, a few elections, what we are seeing now. And it's not just because he's sitting in Chicago, he can get away with it. I mean, he's somebody who's been extremely close to the family, close to Rajiv Gandhi, and he has done, of course, a lot of work as far as the telecom sector was concerned then. But it's what's happening now, and I think the BJP has done well to have something like the Margdarshak Mandal, where you have these, elders of the family who advise the party internally, and that's all they do. You don't see a Murli Manohar Joshi, you don't see a Ram Nayak, you don't see an Advani ji coming out and talking in the open on camera every now and then. I do not know why this was happening. Hua to hua happened, and 2019, at that point of time, they should have done something. They did not. Just a few weeks ago, we had that famous statement on the inheritance tax, where he talked about division of of wealth of a family, and that also created another controversy. Still no action. Too late, and it's coming just after. Right in the middle of the election, and the opposition, the BJP in this case, is going to milk it absolutely to its to the maximum
Absolutely.
extent.
So, Tejas, when you say that his remarks have been coming in right in the midst of an election, this is the second of such remarks now, and these remarks have been disparaging and damaging. But in your assessment, how severe the impact of his recent remarks have been on, the Congress party on the ground, and how much his recent remarks will have a bearing on Congress's alliance with DMK? Because the Prime Minister is not going to let the public forget.
Absolutely not, because this is a very sensitive issue. Imagine somebody like Sam Pitroda, who's an American citizen, lives in the United States, where it's a country where race, discrimination, color, all of that is extremely a sensitive issue. So one would have expected better out of him. You cannot talk just in your dining hall as you're talking, and there too one should not be speaking that way, and that therefore the BJP is going to make maximum, take out maximum out of it, especially when it's weak, that is in the south. I mean, this goes absolutely in contradiction to what Rahul Gandhi has been speaking of, the idea of India. They have not done well in the northeast. The only area which they have only zone they have done well is the south of India, and there too you are now making disparaging comments like this. The BJP is absolutely going to go for the kill, because it makes a lot of political sense for them.
Absolutely. And I also want to understand from you, I mean, Pitroda is quite close to the Congress party. He has been an advisor to former, the late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. He was invited by Mrs. Gandhi, the late Indira Gandhi as well. He's also worked with Manmohan Singh. So is this resignation, should this be considered for real, or is this just a face-saving exercise because this is happening in the midst of an election? And now the relationship between the Congress, the Gandhis, and of course Pitroda has become too inconvenient.
Absolutely. They go back a very long way, decades. I mean, he's almost like Uncle Sam to them. So it's not going to be, that sab rishta khatam ho gaya. I don't think that's going to happen. But he becomes almost irrelevant. I don't think they're
Acceptance
going
of
to
his
give him.
resignation, is this for real? Is this only to save face?
I think it's for real at the moment, but though I would have really expected him to be sacked and not resigning himself, that would have sent a better message to party workers and to all those voters that we are very serious about this. Asking him to resign is little taking care of his sentiments. And for the BJP, of course, I think the BJP is feeling upset also, as somebody put it on Twitter that they're reminded of one song which the BJP would be singing now. अभी तो ना जाओ छोड़कर कि दिल अभी भरा नहीं. They would have wanted him to stay little longer and continue giving them full tosses in this season of IPL and T20 World Cup.
Absolutely, and we'll discuss this further, Tejas. But let's hear out what Congress's Jairam Ramesh and what Prime Minister Modi had to say earlier in the day.
जिनका चमड़ी का रंग काला होता है ये सब अफ्रीका के हैं। मतलब आप सबको, मेरे देश के अनेक लोगों को चमड़ी के रंग के आधार पर उन्होंने इतनी बड़ी गाली दे दी कि चमड़ी का रंग देख करके उन्होंने मान लिया कि द्रौपदी मुर्मू भी अफ्रीकन है और इसलिए उनकी चमड़ी का रंग काला है तो उनको हराना चाहिए। ये सोच आज पहली बार मुझे तो पता चला कि ये दिमाग कहां काम कर रहा है इनका, ये देश को कहां ले जाएंगे।
सैम पिट्रोडा द्वारा भारत की अनेकताओं को जो उपमाएं दी गई हैं वो बिल्कुल गलत है, दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और अस्वीकार्य है, बिल्कुल अस्वीकार्य है। भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस इन उपमाओं से अपने आप को पूर्ण रूप से अलग करती है और इसका खंडन करती है।
It believes India is a land of invaders. People have come from different parts of the world. They've invaded our country and we are descendants of invaders. That's why he mentions like this in a very sexist, crass and a very abusive thing. There's nothing wrong in looking like African. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in looking like a Chinese. It's okay. But what the connotation is saying, that we are descendant of this people. We are not Bharatiyas. We are not inhabitants of this land.
So his statement is very irresponsible. And he himself exposing that he doesn't know the geographical composition of India.
No, it is not a divisive. I don't think that it is a divisive comment because he speaks about the land where the people live. He doesn't speak about community, caste, or like the BJP's religion. Such things he is not speaking. He doesn't say that Hindus are like this, Christians are like that. He defines the land. And every land will have, the people living in every land will have different features, that apart. But that is not a necessary comment now. But ultimately what he has said, in spite of these different facial differences, we are all together. But even then, that comment is unwarranted now. That's
Tejas, let's get back to the discussion and discuss this topic further. Now, Pitroda recently also commented on inheritance tax. Today, he's made a very racist statement. One really wonders what stopped the Congress party from acting on this earlier and perhaps stopping the motor-mouth leaders from uttering things that only damage the party and of course its leaders. The Congress has earlier said that it disassociates itself from Pitroda's remarks and said that these remarks are his own personal views, but personal views actually impacting the party have a larger bearing, right? So what has really stopped the Congress party from acting on this earlier?
I think he is very closely associated with the first family, the Gandhis. He worked with Rajiv Gandhi when he was the prime minister, ushered in the telecom revolution. He made a name for himself for many, many years. It's not that he is not somebody known in India as far as his contribution is concerned. Like that's a separate issue. And I think the leeway is given when somebody is close to you, somebody is known to you. Also, it does not play any active political role in that sense where he's talking in rallies or he is repeatedly giving interviews every day to the media. He's not doing that. So, but he's somewhat like a Mani Shankar Iyer in that sense where he pops up now and then. But whenever he does, he says something which is detrimental to the party. And that's exactly what has happened. And therefore, I think the Congress had absolutely no options left this time. They gave him a safe exit in that sense by asking him to resign. I'm pretty sure he has been told to resign and not really embarrass him further because of his age and his seniority. But I think the reason they have gone really soft on him is because it's not like he's speaking every day on an issue. Now the last one, Hua to Hua, happened 5 years ago. In between, really nothing had really happened. And one thing's people move on and mistakes are made, and especially with close family members and Congress not really in a winning position. It makes little sense when so many are quitting to ask somebody else to throw somebody else out also. So I think these are the many reasons why the Congress would have gone a little slow on it.
Right, and that Tejas really underlines the need to have perhaps some sort of a reorganization as far as the party, I beg your pardon, is concerned. Like you were saying, that the BJP has a sort of a committee that really looks at all of these remarks, and these remarks should not really be coming in uninvited. Perhaps there is a need for a larger reorganization within the party, right?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, there is no doubt about it that the Congress and many within the party itself have suggested how it has to be restructured, how genuine elections have got to take place. Today, not many believe that the current, president, and with due respect to him, that he has his entire say. All the cameras, all the eyes are on Rahul Gandhi because, he's the one who is probably going to be prime minister. If that's what every congressman really dreams of and wants the Gandhis to lead and wants them to become the prime minister. So it does need a lot of structural changes, and that's really not been coming. And therefore this exodus we have been seeing over the years now, and especially in as the elections have come close, we have seen more and more senior people who have quit the party and joined hands with the BJP.
Right. And before we let you go, Tejas, I have a final question for you on a lighter note. Who's going to miss him more, the BJP or Congress?
BJP, of course, absolutely. As I said, the Congress workers, senior leaders, whoever knows him will be in touch with him. But at that line, I found it wonderful. I repeated that song where he says that, Abhi na jao chhod kar ye dil abhi bhara nahi. I mean, that's what everybody is laughing at and saying that, how can somebody make, gaffes like these one after the other in a span of less than a month? I mean, it's incredible. I can't really believe it. And somebody as senior as Sam Pitroda doing it, incredible. That too during election season.
And that too without any sort of accountability, any kind of an impact, any kind of consequences coming in for him. Tejas, we'll leave this discussion here, but thanks very much for joining us this evening and discussing this very, very pertinent issue. Sam Pitroda now leaving the Congress party, but is his resignation going to be enough? We'll have to wait and watch for that. But
if you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.